Welcome to the Vault Archons. This is the Keeper of Keys, Kraz, and tonight we're just going to kind of hang out a little bit, open a deck, and just kind of chat. So I want to thank everybody for being so good on the forums, for being so kind to one another, your constructive comments. It has just been absolutely amazing. You guys are an incredible community, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate having you guys. So I hope you guys are enjoying the content. I am still working out bugs. It's taking, it takes time to get into the flow of this kind of stuff and really kind of, get comfortable with formats and stuff and just kind of figuring it out. So I hope you guys understand. A camera at someday is in the future. I just don't know how far out. I know I need another one. I will be getting one at some point. I think I'm getting better about the focus issues, so thanks for hanging in there through that. I know it was a little bit difficult, and sometimes some of the videos were really shaky and stuff, but honestly, I wanted to give you guys the first take, of what it's like to do something like this, and to just follow this journey with me, get to see these decks and the cool things that kind of exist inside of Keyforge. So let's check this out and see what we got here. Now I have some really cool decks on the way, some of which are just so incredibly unusual. Now this is a first edition deck. I can tell just by the wrapper and the pull tab. It's just vastly different than second edition decks. Now that doesn't mean power level. All that means is these were the decks that probably were the ones that none of the decks that you could pull in here or some of the decks that you can pull from first edition potentially had the name of the possibility of having a bad name. They reprinted the second edition. As far as I could tell, they didn't really change anything. So first thing we're looking at here is the Phosphorus Stars. They changed the packaging, but as far as I can tell, they didn't change the cards. We have a Phosphorus Stars. This is just a fantastic stun. Really like seeing this one. After that, we've got a Squawker. Now this is the good version. This is ready and or stun. So this is a really good card, and we get an Amber for it. So much better than Soft Landing. After that, we've got Incubation Chamber. Now give me a second. I don't think I've seen this one before. I mean, I know I've seen it, but I've never gotten one. So let's take a look at what this does. Omni, remove a Mars creature from your hand. If you do, archive it. So this allows us to build a really, really big Mars board. Now that matters in this deck because, as you can see, we have no Dis, so we have no Arise. So we need to be able to build a big board. It's just kind of one of those things you want to be able to do in decks that don't have things like Arise. We have an Ether Spider. Now this thing is amazing. I love this creature. Any amber that your opponent would gain goes on Ether Spider instead. If you can drop a Shadow Self next to this guy, and I hope there's one in this deck. I can't remember if there is or not. Matter of fact, there's the command card right there. And we'll get back to that later. But if there's a Shadow Self in here, that would just be amazing. After that, we've got a Grabber Jammer, another good Amber Stopper card. So we've got some good Amber control here. A Mind Warper, more Amber stopping. Okay, so I'm trying to remember. I think this was an anti-Amber deck. This is a very heavy Amber Stopper, if I remember correctly. We've got a Veziuma Think Drone. These are really cool. There's a lot of stuff they can do. Now, I would rather see the Zookeeper. He's better. But this one can also allow you to build a big turn in another house if you have Mars control. If they don't have a good board wipe to get rid of. And you got two of these things. So you might be able to get some use out of them. You could with Squawker if you want to. If the Ether Spider's about to die, you could pull it off the board and throw it in your archive. Now that might potentially let them forge a key, so you might have to have another option. Yixel Dominator. This thing is just amazing. This is such a good card. Really powerful creature. It's got taunt. It's going to protect the Ether Spider. Just great. And if our opponent has board clear, they're going to want to clear these things off. Zizix the Mini. This guy is a great ramp card. Really, really powerful. I really like seeing this guy. He's just a good one to have. And we've got 2 of him. So we've got 2 of these big ramp cards. Now, this is going to be really powerful because we're archiving our big creatures away, or other creatures, including the other Zizix. We could archive them away, draw them all back next turn, and then archive them away again. Like there's so many ways that this can become just so powerful. So I really like seeing that. Biomatrix backup. Now, like I said, because we have creatures that are going to be swinging, that's a good one. Dominator's about to die, or you know, one of these guys is about to die, or the Mind Warper's about to die, or the Grabber Jammer's about to die. Like, if anything's about to die, we put the backup on it, and then we swing it at the enemy, right? We can use that on the Aether Spider specifically. Although, wait, the Aether Spider can't swing at the enemy. Do we have anything in Mars that could kill it off? Let's see. That has to be from hand. Okay, so I don't see any way to kill it off for ourselves. So that's unfortunate. What else do we have? Bait and Switch. Wow. This is such a good card. I really like seeing this one. It's so powerful. Such a great card. Makes every deck better. Poison Wave. So now we have damage to the board. So that's good. We didn't have any board clear in our Mars house, but we had a powerful board. So that's good. Relentless Whispers, another steal and damage. This is good. This is good. We had a powerful board, so this is going to go well with that. Too Much to Protect. This is such a great card. Now, and here's why, right? The reason this is such a great card is because we can kill off the Aether Spider, right, when we want, and play Too Much to Protect, or Bait and Switch, right? And so we can have a ton of amber on the Aether Spider and then kill it when we want, and then use the cards we want. Speed Sigil. Now in this deck, Speed Sigil is amazing, and I'm going to explain why. If you can keep this on the board with another combination card in here, things are going to get broken real fast for you. After that, we've got Subtle Maul. It's such a great card. I really like seeing this one. It's a card discarded for our opponents. Really nice one. And then we've got Old Bruno. Now, Old Bruno, this is an interesting card. Very good capture. Again, more amber control. After that, we have a Dodger. This guy works great with the Speed Sigil. Matter of fact, at the end, we'll look at the cards that work good with the Speed Sigil. Silvertooth, he doesn't need the Speed Sigil. Nice little direct, smack him in the face damage if we need be. Really nice one to have. And we have 2 of those. So we can really just dump down either amber or damage if we need to. We've got an Umbra, also works good with the Speed Sigil. Got a second Umbra, also works good with the Speed Sigil. Then we've got a Cooperative Hunting. More damage to the enemy board, right? And so if we have a Save the Pack in here, that's amazing. We have a Full Moon. Really good card to have. Just nice, strong amber gain if we have the creatures. We have a Life Web. More steel in this deck, right? Just the steel in here is just crazy. We have a Mimicry. Now, this can copy anything that our opponent has cast. And so this is just so good in this deck. Like, this deck is just so good at just doing serious amber damage. They play a Bait and Switch on you, you mimic it, right? Just amazing. Nocturnal Maneuvers, again, really good to be able to exhaust from creatures. Stampede. This is another card that is going to give us steel. We have so much steel in this deck. It's just crazy. Ritual of Balance, more steel. This is just crazy. Then we have a Big Twig, a good, powerful creature. This guy is so good once you get him on the board. Then we have a Chota Hazri. Oh, man. This deck is so good. A Dust Pixie. Oh, man. I love this deck. Then we have a Marmook. We can even make their keys cost more. That is so good. And then we have a Witch of the Eye. And so now let's look at what is actually broken here, shall we? We're just going to be looking at the power cards, not all the cards that would be good to play in here. And we're not going to include the creatures for now, but we're going to include the cards that are really powerful. And we'll explain why this is so powerful. So let's start with the two most important cards in this pile for this combination. We'll start with these two right here. Now, the Speed Sigil allows your first creature to come in unexhausted. So you can immediately reap with the Witch of the Eye when you use Untamed and bring back any of these cards. Now, if that Speed Sigil stays on the board, and we can keep the Witch of the Eye on the board, we can keep bringing these cards back. All of them. Now, there's a weakness to this deck. Right? Artifact control is one. So again, artifact control plays a big play. Plays a big part. But there's so much steal in this deck, so much capture in this deck, it is going to put a tremendous amount of pressure on our opponent. They are going to want to board clear us all the time. Like, they are just going to want to keep board clearing us as much as they can. And we're just going to be stealing from them the entire time. It's just crazy how much steal is in this deck, or capture. You know, they really need to dominate the board against this deck. And if they don't have Amber clear, if they don't have Artifact clear, as soon as this comes into play, we can play a Bait and Switch every other turn. We can play a Mimicry every other turn. Ether Spider, so on and so forth. We can rotate them. Chota Hazri, Bait and Switch. Chota Hazri, Bait and Switch. Like, if they can't deal with an artifact against this combination once it begins, and they cannot get this Witch of the Eye off the board, they are done. Now, the problem that this deck has, and this is why I'm letting you guys know this, and I want you guys to find something better, right? The problem this one has is there's no way to bring the Witch of the Eye back, right? So once the Witch of the Eye leaves the board, unless they use something like a Rise, which will be very common, if they used a Rise, well, now they've caused a whole new problem. If they've used Regrowth, they've caused a whole new problem. So now you see what the use of this Mimicry is here. You must keep this in your hand and be ready to deal with them clearing off your Witch of the Eye. Right? And so, unfortunately, this deck doesn't have that much in the way of being able to deal with it. It has some way. But it's still vulnerable to Artifact Destroy. The Witch of the Eye would have to bring back the Speed Sigil, or you'd have to mimic something on their side that could do so. But even if this combination isn't going, this is still an incredibly powerful Amber control deck. The number of Amber control cards in here is huge. I mean, it's just crazy how many of the cards in here are Amber control. Those are all Amber control cards. All of them. That is really, really powerful. All right, all of those cards are Amber control. And then the other cards that are in here, a lot of which are Amber Gain or Card Control, or just a really powerful board with some cool abilities. Like I said, this is just a really cool deck. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. If you guys can get that combination rolling, let me know how much fun it is against the decks that don't have artifact control. I think by now everybody should should be approaching going, oh man, I need Amber, or I need artifact control. So in case you guys didn't get that, there you go. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I may be back later, I don't know. So I will talk to you later.